Hello everyone, I am here to walk you through the process of putting your Faculty Performance Agreement or FPA into digital measures. Get your coffee ready, it's super exciting. I'm looking over to the side because my notes are all right here on my desk beside me. So let's get started with talking a little bit about what digital measures actually is. Remember that DM is really a database that you get to update as a faculty member, and this database is pretty important because it is where we get information by we as like an administration or as a group of peers to review and assess your performance at work. So Barbara uses this every year to conduct annual reviews and also to go over your faculty performance agreement or FPA. But also when you get ready to go up for promotion and tenure, your entire dossier is going to be put together and distributed through digital measures. So we don't print anything at all for your tenure and promotion packets. Or if you're a lecturer going up for senior lecturer, there's nothing printed there either. It's all carried out through digital measures. And I've been through the process of going up for tenure and promotion with digital measures. And at first I thought I was going to hate not printing things out, but I ended up thinking that it was an okay process. And it can be done in a not so painful way as long as you start out from the outset learning how the system works and keeping up with all of the information that the system needs in order to reflect favorably on you and showcase all the wonderful things that you are doing for us here at Kennesaw State University. So let's get started with how you get to digital measures. The website address is digitalmeasures.kennesaw.edu. When you go there, you'll be pulling up this website right here, and then you click on Login to Activity Insight, and this will bring up a login screen. Here you put in your NetID and password. Should be the same thing that you use to log into your email system, and that gets you into the digital measures system. So this is where you put information into the database known as digital measures. So what I'm going to focus on today is just the faculty performance agreement area of digital measures. There's plenty of other areas we should be concerned about, but those are for different videos. To keep this kind of short and manageable, we're going to focus only on the FPA, Faculty Performance Agreement. So this is how you set it up. You'll scroll down to where it says Narratives, and then right here where it says Narratives for your Faculty Performance Agreement, you click there. And you can see that I've been using this system for the past 2 years for FPAs. So I've already done my 2019 FPA. I did that back in January because remember, your faculty performance agreement is basically the contract that you set up with Barbara to say, here is the work I am going to do in this calendar year. Not academic year, calendar year. So all of us who were previously here did our 2019 FPAs back in January. If you are a brand new hire, you just got here in August, welcome, you get to do an FPA. And your FPA will also be for 2019. It'll just be for, like this semester. Right, so it's a little bit weird. So for those of you who have just been hired, you will create an FPA for 2019, and then all of us will create new FPAs in January for the 2020 calendar year. So let me show you how you create a new item. Go over here to where it says Add New Item. You click it, and it pulls up the screen where you get to create your Faculty Performance Agreement. And the way that you set this up properly is under calendar year. You will put in 2019. If you, again, are brand new, you just got here in August. If you're watching this video like December or January, you'll put in 2020 because these are your goals for what you'll achieve and accomplish and do for whatever time we've got remaining in the year. So here under administrative assignment, you're going to choose no unless you are school director or department chair, or if you have a substantial administrative assignment. I don't even have a 50% administrative assignment, and I'm the associate director. So it just depends on what you've negotiated and what your workload is as stated in your contract. So we'll choose no. And then under situational context, this is where you put in one of the most important pieces of information in your FPA, your workload percentages. And you can write other things there too, but for most of us who are tenure track faculty, our workload is 60% teaching, 30% research, and 10% service. The faculty handbook goes into a little bit about how you determine those percentages. This is pretty much standard across the board in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. The way we came up with 60% teaching is the faculty handbook does clearly state that for every class you teach, that counts as 10% of your workload for the year. And tenure track faculty are hired under 3-3 loads, which means 3 classes in the fall, 3 in the spring. That's 6 total classes, 6 times 10, 60%. That's the most math I hope I get to do all day. The interesting thing about the other percentages, 30% research, 10% service, there's really no way you can tie an amount of time to each of those percentages. Really what matters if your tenure track is under the research area, 30% of your time theoretically is enough time to get the number of publications you need to get promoted and tenured or just promoted. And so in our school right now, if you're an assistant professor, by the time you go up for associate professor and tenure, you need a minimum of 2 peer-reviewed publications. If you're going up for full, you need a minimum of 3 peer-reviewed publications since your last promotion. And there's really no way to break that down time-wise because we know that the research process is messy and takes a long time, so just don't think too much about breaking it down by time. The 30% research, 10% service is pretty much standard, unless you've negotiated with Barbara to have a different percent workload. But pretty much all of us have at least some service commitment. If you are a lecturer, then your breakdown will look like this: 90% teaching, 10% service, unless you get a course reassignment or you've negotiated with Barbara to have a slightly different workload percentage and situational context. So right here is where you put the breakdown of what you're doing each year. You can also write a short paragraph and elaborate a little bit more. It probably wouldn't hurt to say I'm an assistant professor and I got hired whatever year, or I'm program coordinator and this is what I do. Anything you want to say about your general work here, but it doesn't need to be a lot. No more than a paragraph under situational context. This just sets up what are you doing here in a narrative format. Now from there, let's talk about the meat of the FPA, which are your goals. And you can see if you scroll down, we've got a couple of different areas for goals. We've got goals in the areas of teaching, supervision, and mentoring of students, research and creative activity, and professional service. There's really not a hard and fast rule about how many goals you need in each of these sections or how lengthy the goals need to be. It really just depends on your context, depends on your situation, depends on the conversations you've had with Barbara about what the two of you have agreed you will do with your work time for this calendar year. I usually aim for about 3 goals in each area because 3 is a magic number and it seems to work out for me okay. But remember that these goals don't have to necessarily be stretch or reach goals. They can be what might seem like pretty simple goals, and they can be reflective of the work that you're already doing. So for example, especially if you're brand new faculty, your teaching goal might just be to teach and prep a new course that you've been assigned for this year. Or if you have a particular unit you want to update within one of the courses you've taught historically, you can put that under teaching, supervision, and mentoring of students. We don't do faculty advising anymore. Previously, our advising would fall under this mentoring section. But if you do work with students on a one-on-one mentoring level, put that under your goals. And that's really, this area is really just for the things that you'll do this year that are related to your work in the classroom. And again, I got a lot of leadership training and did all kinds of leadership stuff back in college. And so when anybody says the word goal, like my leadership training hat just like pops on and I get freaked out and think I have to set all these goals that are going to be impossible to reach. And that's not the point of this FPA. The point is just to give Barbara an accurate reflection of what's reasonable for you to accomplish this year. So keep that in mind if any of you also are still suffering from the results of being an over-involved college student like I was. Or if you've worked in the corporate world, this happens a lot in the corporate world too. You're expected to set all these reach goals that stress people out. That's not the point of this. It's just to be a reflection of what are you going to do this year. Now, under the status thing is a little tricky. And it doesn't matter as much as it might look like it does on the surface. You can set if it's a brand new goal, like you're a brand new faculty member, all of your goals are going to be new. I think that the ongoing, proposed, future kind of works a little bit better here if we look at something like research and creative activity. So I might choose ongoing. Under my research and creative activity, if I'm working on a long-term book project and I've been working on it the past 3 years, to me that's an ongoing goal. If I'm going to write a book proposal, then that's going to be a new goal for me under research and creative activity. So that designation just kind of lets Barbara know as a reminder, have I been working on this for a while and this is just sticking around and something I want to continue to work on, or is this a brand new idea and something I want to pick up and add to my workload for next year? So with research and creative activity, again, I aim for 3 things. Usually for me, that's a conference presentation or a conference attending and a publication or whatever I've got in the research pipeline. It doesn't have to necessarily be I will publish this in JoBim. It could be I am going to collect data on a project that I will hope to publish next year. That's totally fine for a goal under research and creative activity. And then under professional service, oh, I'm sorry, I should go back. If you're a lecturer, you don't have to put anything at all under research and creative activity unless that has somehow been negotiated as part of your workload. So if you are a lecturer or senior lecturer, you don't have a research expectation. Your responsibility is teaching and a little bit of service as well. I say a little bit, a lot of you are doing a lot of service, so you may have chuckled at that. Under professional service, again, you still got the options, ongoing, new, proposed, future. This is where you list out any committees that you know you are going to serve on. If you are advising a student organization, that sort of thing goes there. If you're on an ad hoc committee or a task force, really this service area, it isn't really so much for the external community service type things you might be involved in. It really is just professional service. What are you doing here at the university to help? And if you just got here in August, there's not a whole lot that you'll have in this category, and that's fine. So this first time you might not have 3 things under service. Sometimes you can just put as a goal, serve on committees as asked by the director. But give it some time. Once you've been here a couple years, you're going to have plenty to put under your professional service goals there. And that's how you do the goals. Once you have added your goals, you can always click the box here to add more rows till you get your 2 or 3 goals under each section that you need. And then this section here is optional. If you want to annotate and add a description of your long-term goals, like everything here in your FPA is going to be kind of short-term. For the most part, what is it that you're working towards? If you want to add additional context about the projects you're working on or courses that you hope to teach in the future or the service assignments you hope to take on in the future, you can always add that here. And then once you've got it, you can just click Save. And when you click Save, I'm going to click Cancel because I'm not actually updating my stuff right now. Once you click Save, you will see it pop up as a line item here, and I'll just pull up what I had done last year, and it'll save it, and there you go. You've got all of your goals, hopefully right there, that list out everything that you hope to do for the entire year. Now, once you got your goals set up, what's interesting about the FPA too is that a lot of times things change, even just a couple months after you set up your FPAs, and you end up taking on a service assignment you did not know you were going to have, or you end up not being on the committee you thought you were going to be on because something else came your way that was a better opportunity for you. I think technically I'm supposed to tell you that our FPAs are supposed to be updated to reflect those changes. I'll be honest, I don't update my FPA. I always make the adjustments in my annual review document and explain in my annual review the extent to which I achieved the goals that I set in my FPA. So that's kind of my suggestion for you in that point. Okay, I think that's all that I had on my notes. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email me, contact me, let me know. I wish all of you the very best of luck. Do not struggle with this. If you are struggling or you're confused or overwhelmed, reach out, let me know. If I can't help you with it, I will find someone who can. Best wishes, and I'll be back with more on annual reviews later. Bye.